For the next 30 days, I'll be waking up at 4:30 a.m.
No.
Taking a photo of my watch. Going for a run. Here's a teaser on how it went. But first, though, why? Here's what I like to believe. Every decision you make, every time you press the snooze button, every time you say, I'll start Monday, your life splits. One version of you binge watches reruns of The Office. The other crushes a workout. In one of these dimensions, you become your best self, the superhuman version of yourself. And in the other, you become a potato. Well, the potato version of yourself, at least. You always decide which reality you live in. And it all depends on discipline. Define self-discipline.
Self-discipline means the ability to control one's feelings and overcome one's weaknesses.
Also known as doing the things you know you should do, even if you don't want to. Also known as something I need to work on. Normally I'm a world traveler, and I say normally because in early 2020 we all had our wings clipped. In my free time I came across a guy named Jocko Willink, a Navy SEAL turned thought leader with the idea.
So let's go now, get up, and get after it.
There's no doubt he's legit, but why does he wake up early?
I like to have that psychological win over the enemy.
My enemy, donuts. Donuts I'm slowly fading away to a vague vanilla version of myself through the comfort of a predictable routine, the only excitement in my life being a bowl of bran flakes and yelling at kids to get off my lawn. But mostly, donuts. To master your self-discipline, this man recommends waking up at 4:30, planning your day the night before, doing the things you hate, and to get after it. And that is why. All that's left now is to go to bed. Very early.
No.
I purchased this particular alarm clock to coax me out of a restful sleep with birdsong and warm morning light in hopes I would awake in a pleasant mood. No, it didn't work.
No snooze, no snooze, get up, oh my God.
You running. You. I taste blood. Just a little bit. But I feel really good. And it's 5:50. Now what do I do? I thought I would give you an update on how the day's going. Okay, so it's about 3:30 in the afternoon and my gas tank is completely empty. I got about 5 hours sleep last night. I couldn't get to bed. I'm not used to going to bed that early, so I stayed awake. I just laid awake for about an hour and a half while I was there. But after the run this morning, I felt alive and I've been smashing my to-do list. The discipline, I almost didn't get up this morning. Almost postponed this another week. But by getting up, as much as I didn't want to, that kind of set the pace for the day. That was the discipline milestone, the stake in the road, telling myself this is the standard I'm going to live today at. So all these other little cravings and distractions have not gotten in my way. I'm dead tired and it's 3:30. When you start your day at 4:30, that's a pretty full day. You know what I mean? I'm actually back in Canada at my parents' house. When you travel 11 months out of the year, you don't really have an apartment. So luckily I've been able to crash here. And we have dinner time in about an hour and a half or so. And I think very shortly after that, I'm gonna crash and get a jump on day 2, which hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get to sleep. I'll get a full 8 hours and tomorrow will be even better than today. That's the plan. That's the hope. Wish me luck. No. Do you see that? Maybe not. It's 3 o'clock and I have smashed into the brick wall. I was thinking after getting 7 hours sleep I would be wide awake, but this afternoon has been, actually the entire day I've been incredibly tired. So I have planned for this moment. I knew at some point during this challenge, probably on the first 2 days, I would get tired and I'd want to chicken out and just cuddle right into this bed and have a nap. No naps. I'm back at my parents' place. I've been working out with my mom every single day during the pandemic. So the plan now is to not blow it off, go down there, get beast mode, and hopefully salvage the afternoon. But this is the face of a guy who just wants to, just a quick little nap. No naps. The enemy doesn't nap. Let's go.
Dog bag, get ready to fly. We're gonna get your lads so huge that you're gonna see them coming from far away. So let's rock and roll, baby.
Ready? Let's get beastie.
What it do, what it does, where you been, where you was, what it ain't, what it is. Face in the mud, try really be hating in the mud. Said I can't pick it up, but I did. Y'all know Goon put too much bass in the sub. Cup full of blood and I gave it a chug. Wait till your neighbors get all snug, then play this real loud where you live. This that
Peace out.
kids.
Okay, I feel alive again. How about you? Beastie?
Feel great.
Beastie. Let's continue the day.
I feel like a doctor on late shift. I done ran out of my patience. I done no trip out in Vegas. I say I don't have to pay shit. Don't try to say we related. I come to the ring.
It's day 5 of this shit. Listen to the birds. Why the hell are they up so early? Today I almost didn't stick to my plan. I woke up at 4:30 and I decided, you know what, I deserve a sleep in, and I was trying to rationalize why I didn't have to get up. But I did get up. And then I wasn't gonna go for my run because my legs were sore and it was really, really cold, but I did go for the run. But I promised myself I was only gonna go halfway because what's the point? I'm already awake anyway, and that was half the point. But I did continue, but I was only gonna walk because why am I running? I can just walk the block. But then I did run slowly, barely a jog, but I did. I stuck to the plan. And I realized something when I got back. I only felt okay. That today was the biggest success yet. Because being motivated and doing something is easy. But being unmotivated and still sticking to the plan, that's discipline. And that's how you craft yourself into the best version of yourself. I didn't feel great today, but I did it. And that's why it's the biggest success yet. Success. Damn it. 1 week. Okay, just finishing off the first week. Time goes fast, guys. Crazy. Thought I'd show you exactly what I do the night before. This book is called The High Performance Planner. But honestly, you could just get a sheet of paper and do this exact same thing, not spend $30 on a fancy book. Anyway, the thing that has been a lifesaver in the mornings has been planning the night before. And that's because after you go for that run, after you wake up at 4:30, then you go for the run, and then you have breakfast, maybe a coffee. You're left with that moment where you're like, what do I do now? And if you don't know what you're doing now, it's very easy to find yourself right back here in bed, because it's still quite dark. But by planning your day out, in this case hour for hour in this book, you know what you're going to do right after that. It could be reading a book, it could be journaling, it could be something creative, it could be emails, whatever you choose, but you have a plan, and the idea is to stick to that plan throughout the day. Sometimes it's a hit and a miss, but either way, the key is being able to have a plan for right after you finish that run. So I'm going to finish this up and hit the sack, and we'll see each other on the asphalt at 4:30, 4:45 tomorrow morning. Good night.
Well, it's a little easier this week. There's never anybody out though. Only crazy people are up this early. I'm a crazy person. I knew that a while ago.
Things were going smoothly. Then this happened. I missed a couple days. Let's talk about it. Okay, first though, let me show you something. When I started this adventure last week, I put 3 post-it notes on my mirror. The first, do the things you hate. I don't know who first said this, but we've talked about it a lot in this video. By taking the path of most resistance and pushing into the things that you really don't like doing, you can get better at them. And then poof, maybe, hopefully, by 30 days from now, we'll like the things that we hate. The second is own your day, own your life. That's a book by Aubrey Marcus, which is about discipline, which is about starting the morning, doing some things to get that win streak popping. If life has a chalkboard, by putting on a few wins right away, you have momentum to achieve more during the day. That's the premise of that quote. And the third, Discipline equals Freedom, is a book by our man Jocko Willink, which is very much the same thing. By doing these disciplined things every day, over and over again, you will have freedom. You'll be able to have the freedom to choose what you want to do with your life, and life will deliver itself to you. This last one, notice how it doesn't say motivation equals freedom, because that's been my problem the past couple days. I am trying to get more disciplined. That's why we're doing this adventure. I'm not the most disciplined person. It's easy some days. The first week I was motivated. It was new. I was making this video. I was amped. And it went easy. But then week 2 came along and I lost the motivation. And that's where the discipline had to come into effect. And it didn't exactly. There was one night where I was blitting on my phone and it was up until 11. Then I was like, oh my God, I'm only going to get like 5 hours sleep. And then I missed that and I woke up late and realized this is a 48-hour plan to get back track again. Because if you go to bed late, you wake up late and then you can't go to bed early again. So you have to think 2 days in advance. Anyway, I'm not perfect. The whole point of doing this is to be more disciplined. And we're getting there slowly. Skip 2 days. Let's put it behind us and continue with this grand, crazy month together. Back on track. Week 2. In the mornings, I had one simple rule. Run and don't stop for the entire block. It doesn't have to be fast. We're not trying to set a land speed record. We're just trying to complete the plan and get home. It can be slow. That's okay. Just stick to the plan. It's the weekend. It's the middle of May. It is time where my family opens up the cottage. So I'm headed there now. It's about a 2-hour drive. The hardest part, or one of the hardest parts during this, is the waking up at 4:30, but especially with some social obligations. So I'm not going to have this much time with my family ever again. I don't know. It's the middle of the pandemic, so I'm stuck home. And I want to take advantage of that. When everyone's having beers, watching TV, playing games, and it's 8:30 and it's my bedtime, so I don't know. I'm going to try to go to bed early tonight. I do want to spend time with my family. We'll see how it goes. This one's obsessed with shadows. You're addicted.
Don't come back at the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more at the road, Jack. Don't you come back. So don't you come back.
Is there anything more Canadian? Okay, so my dad actually got his fireworks license a couple years ago, and we always start the summer off with a show. I've got this, a little Mavic Mini. Fireworks and drones, anybody? Continuing the month of doing what we hate. The water is about 4 degrees Celsius. All it took was a few glasses of rum and some pyrotechnics to throw me off my schedule. But I felt like it was worth it, though I did need to show myself I couldn't skip a day of discipline without punishment. I'm alive. Oh. After struggling to maintain my 4:30 wake-ups, I heard my friends Kara and Nate, also travel YouTubers, had been inspired to pick up this journey as well. So I decided to jump on a call with them to see how it was going. So talk to me, guys. What's it like waking up at 4:30?
Not any easier than it was the first day.
That
Okay,
is so true.
maybe like a little bit easier.
I thought it would be easier, but it's not.
So what do you tell yourself to get out of bed in the morning?
I've just made a deal with myself from the start, and that's like I snooze 2 or 3 times every morning before I wake up usually. And when we were starting this, I was like, okay, that's another habit I'm gonna kick. Just like as soon as the alarm goes off, I have to sit up. And so far, I've kept that promise to myself.
So would you describe yourselves as morning people?
Me
a
more
little
than
bit.
Kara.
I'm very slow in the morning. It takes me a long time to get focused and get ready. And I also am a terrible runner. Terrible runner. I hate running. So for me, this has been like, wow, I can get out of bed before coffee and I can run 3 miles every day. Like it's been a huge like personal journey. Like Nate said, like we've taken the the 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. hours where we were watching Netflix and drinking wine and eating popcorn and made that 6 a.m. Like those hours are now filled with exercise, showering, and work before we were even out of bed before. Like that's the best part is when I'm at my computer with a cup of coffee at an hour that I was still sleeping before.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's it. You replace those hours at the end of the day that are like the dredges of the day with actual morning time. And the morning, you're not so inclined to like wake up and watch Netflix unless you're really in the narcos.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It was great to catch up and to talk about the ups and downs. I felt inspired. I had a week left and the finish line was in sight. I crushed it.
All right, we're up. And we're at him. At him? Actually, we're Mike. Are we at him or are we at him? Either way, we're awake. It's Thursday today, which means Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And Monday is Duns Day. 30 days of waking up at 4:30 and it hasn't been easy. I'm gonna buy myself a frickin' cake.
And the crowd goes wild. So do the dogs. Probably shouldn't wake the neighbors. Let's go inside. And that, my friends, is day 30. Bam. Remember, in the very beginning, I said this.
I'm gonna buy myself a frickin' cake.
I did it. Today is a celebration. We did 30 days. Well, almost 30 days of waking up at 4:30, and it was not easy. It was not an easy thing at all. So, the plan today, go over some things that I realized, the good and bad, during this amazing month, and also answer some of your questions. Look at that. All right. Ooh, baby. The number one question, this is pretty good, that I got from you guys was why. But I really hope the why was answered during this video. But continuing with this idea of why, that's a question I asked myself. Not so much about why I wanted to do this, but why I hated running and why I hated waking up at 4:30. And so this is the thought process that kind of started this entire project. I haven't really told you about this yet. I said I hated running. I said I hated waking up at 4:30. Why? Well, running isn't very fun and it's exhausting. And waking up early, I've never been a morning person. I ask why again. Well, I've never been a morning person because I guess I never really felt like waking up early in the morning. Well, why? I guess I've always stayed up late. Well, why? I guess I just watch TV and go on social media? Well, I can fix that. Okay, so I never like running. Why? Well, it's tiring. Why? Well, I guess I don't find it interesting. Why? Well, I'm not that good at it. Why? Well, I guess I've never actually practiced it that much. So then it kind of dismantles the entire argument. So by asking why 3 times, 4 times, pretty much all of my arguments fell completely to pieces. So that's something I'd like you to take away from this too. Ask yourself why a few times consecutively about the things you don't like or aren't good at, and you'll find some pretty tough answers pretty quick. Pause. This is Mike from the future cutting into this outro because I realized something else. I spent 30 days doing what I told myself I was going to do. And now, weeks later, I'm realizing that that's carried forward in an unexpected way. When I've told my friends and family that I was going to do something, I found myself much more compelled to do it. Not saying I always blew people off, but now I feel like it's my duty to do what I say, and that my word is my bond, much more strongly than before. And I think that's worth a lot. Resume. So I put out a poll, I'm answering your questions, and here we go. You say freedom is discipline, but why is pain for you freedom? That's an interesting one, because you're right. Like, why forcing myself to do this every single morning is definitely not freedom. It's like I guess you can almost like an uncomfortable prison. But you have to think about the long term. And when the idea of discipline equals freedom, It's thinking about the big picture. So there's a quote about this. Let me see if I can find it. By Jim Rohn. We must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. The idea here is by putting yourself through these small moments of discipline that are painful, sure. You then hone your focus, you craft a life where you don't have to deal with the pain of regret later. Maybe you're not the kind of person who will sit on the deathbed and say, you know what, I should have ran that triathlon. You know what, maybe I could have accomplished more in life and love or whatever it be. And by disciplining yourself now and putting a bit of pain in your life on purpose to find the pleasure in it, you will have freedom later. You'll have freedom from regret and you'll be able to feel comfortable and like you've accomplished your goals in life. And I think success in this life, if it's one thing in your last moments on your deathbed, it's this. It's laying there and saying, yeah, that was a good ride. What was your wake-up song? You know what? I got it right here. I'm probably gonna get copyright flag. I'll put it in the description and I'll put it below. If I now had one wish, it would be that all of you would come along and help me eat this beautiful cake. There were so many people who inspired me to get up in the mornings that I didn't want to, who actually started their 4:30 to 5 a.m. journey themselves. And I just wanna say we did it together. And if anybody wants to do it themselves, message me. I'll be here to help you. I think if you're looking to change your life drastically, to flip on the discipline switch, to flex those muscles that need flexing, this is the best way to do it. It's just willpower. Nothing crazy. You get up at 4:30 or early and you just move your body outside. Lastly, I made a fear worksheet that if you did enjoy this video and you feel like you want to work on yourself a bit more and fight your greatest fears, it is a free worksheet you can push through all of the hard questions I've asked myself over the past 6 years of fighting my fears. I'm still a scaredy cat, but I've at least learned how to deal with those feelings. Me and fear have a relationship. We're kind of dating. Sorry, Eva. And that is below for you to check out. All I need is your email. It'll go into your inbox. Thank you so much, Dragons, for watching. Chase your fears, and I'll see you on the next video here on Fearless and Far.